and the Jamaica Labour Party firm and strong. I pray to God to give me the energy we need to keep Jamaica and our people firm and strong. Stand up, Labour rights. Stand up for justice. Stand up for truth. Labour rights are proud of their party.
In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory. Jamaica, no bother for stone, no bother fight, we did a for the labor right. No shaky boat because a woman we like, we did a for the labor right. The river come down green, it's a pretty and bright, we did a for the labor right. The way me love shower in a green, me baptized, we did a for the labor right. Right now me nah worry about visa, cause we have one of the greatest leader. Me nah run way, go a foreign like Triple X and go beef crab leg out a freezer. Bout ya fit on green like Tracina. I will say no, we is freeze for the teachers. We have the prettiest women like Anne-Marie Vaz and sexy Venetia. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory. Oh no, see Center, Urban Center, Kitchino, St. James Parameter. Our doctors in a fi use garbage bag, yo, does you go on like you no member. No blessings that flow like river. Every bad prayer return to sender. Dr. Cole and Blair teach drop out from when PNP never buy them no denture. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory.
All right, my people. So let us do the evening shoutouts again. And then we will get back into the audio. See, I'm wanting to listen to me keenly. You know, I believe that the police did not properly secure the crime scene. And I believe that the DPP have blundered, my people. You know, I believe that it is them that, you know, did not secure this victory for, you know, Mrs. Silvera and her children. And what is happening in Jamaica today is a travesty, you know, a travesty of justice. You know, justice was denied not only to Melissa, but to her children and to the Jamaican public who, you know, it was looking forward to seeing justice done for this lady. And it was denied, if you ask me. See? So let's roll up back the evening shoutouts and then let's get back into the audio. Mama Lifestyle, good evening. Sylvan, big up yourself. Ellen Mackenzie, big up yourself. Melody, good evening. Duyan, big up yourself. Denise, big up yourself. Ina, big up yourself. And Father Dennis, big up yourself. Big up again to all of the silent watchers. Remember if you like up your live, my people. Liking the live, promote the live. See? So, we have a clip from Nationwide where they were giving analysis. But we are going to listen to Mahiri first, and then we'll move to that. So listen to this, my people.
According to the DPP, sometime after 10:30 p.m. on November 10, 2023, Julian Silvera told his wife Melissa and the children that he was leaving to attend a meeting and would return the following day. Melissa told him he could not leave and an argument ensued. This is according to the statement of two of the children. They say the adults swore at each other and then Silvera left. Sometime before 6 a.m. on the following day, November 11, One of the children, who was 10 years old at the time, went into his parents' bedroom and discovered his mother's lifeless body on the floor next to their bed. He noticed that there was blood coming from her orifices and that her was covered with blood. He ran from the bedroom and alerted his brother, who accompanied him back to his parents' bedroom, where they both checked their mother for signs of life. They tried to make contact with their father using the Messenger Kid application on their digital device. They were eventually successful. Silvera has indicated in a witness statement that he called the Stony Hill police station whilst on the way home after he had spoken to his son. The children say upon arrival at his house at 2A Diamond Court in Stony Hill, St. Andrew, Silvera went into his bedroom. The report says Silvera saw his wife in a sitting position with her head leaning forward at the side of the bed. He touched her, spoke to her, and found that she was not responding. Sometime after, the first responder, who was an officer of the Stony Hill police station, arrived at the house and went into the bedroom, where he saw Melissa's body. He took a photograph of the body with his Samsung telephone. The first responder says Silvera cried out. He then had Silvera cover the nude section of Melissa's body. The first responder did not further examine the body as Silvera was still crying. The first responder, after learning from Silvera that Melissa had no known medical condition, indicated that a post-mortem examination would be conducted to determine the cause of death. He then contacted the House of Tranquility Funeral Home for the removal of the body. He then left. Morgue attendants arrived at the house and removed her body. A post-mortem examination was scheduled to take place on December 1, 2023. On this date, the pathologist discovered that there were scars on her body. The post-mortem examination was conducted on December 15 at the Tranquility Funeral Home. The pathologist noted that there were 3 gunshot wounds, one to the front of the right thigh, one to the left side of the lower abdomen, and the third is to the right side of the lower abdomen. The pathologist removed 2 projectiles from her body, which were handed over to the police. The pathologist opined that the immediate cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds. The detectives and the first responder returned to the Silvera home on December 16. Upon entering the bedroom, it was noticed that the floor was now tiled, the furniture sprayed over, the mattress replaced with a new one, and the walls painted. The children's room was also tiled. Silvera indicated that no one had told him that he could not make changes to the room. His iPhone and firearms, for which he held a license, were taken by the police for examination and testing. The projectiles removed from Melissa's body were compared to test fires taken from Silvera's gun by the ballistics experts in 2024. The experts saw level 1 matching, meaning class and characteristics, and some amount of level 2 matching. As a result of his findings, the expert contacted the Firearms Licensing Authority, FLA, and requested the test fires in their possession from Silvera's Glock pistol, which were taken in 2013. A comparison was done between the test fires from FLA and the projectiles from Melissa's body, and they matched, i.e., they were fired from Silvera's Glock pistol. The ballistics expert indicated that there was corrosion to the barrel of the firearm. The firearm had been inspected by FLA on the 29th of September 2023, and there were no signs of tampering. Silvera was arrested and charged at the conclusion of the ballistics examination. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
So let us break this down now, my people. So, Jalen Silvera killed his wife. Left his wife's body in there with the kids and went away. The kids had to come back. The kids had to contact him to come back because he was now pretending as if this was not him. If this is to go by, if we are to go by this. See? Another thing that I want to point out, the police came because if you listen to the first part of the audio, you say her lifeless body was lying on the floor and blood was everywhere. You know? So, when the police got there and saw that blood was everywhere, you know, that should have immediately jump out and scream and say, something is not right here. Something is not right here. Instead, the police call the Tranquility Funeral Home, take a picture with his Samsung phone, and something does not add up, my people. Me don't know. So if this is the official story that the DPP is spouting out there, this should have been a clear-cut murder charge, because that would have said that he killed his wife. He went away and left the crime scene for the children to find it, which is very cruel, you know, because if he gone away, the children, them are going to get up and call their mother the next morning, and them are going and find their mother lifeless body, which it sounds like that's what happened, you know. So, something not add up about this Astoria, my people. Something not add up about this Astoria. Anyway, we're going to listen to the analysis, my people. Uncle Josh, save the channel number. So save the channel number, Uncle Josh, and you can call me upon the channel number. I'm using the other device now with my original number on it. See? So just save the channel number, and then you can show me upon the channel number. Let us listen to the analysis by Chevron and Ricardo, I believe.
We're going through the statement from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution.
See number up on the screen there. It's a WhatsApp number. You have to call me upon WhatsApp, right? So once the phone lines are open, we'll be taking calls then, right? So just save the number in its entirety, Uncle Josh, or you see it, and that is this channel's number, right?
Regarding their accepting the guilty plea from Julian Silvera for the charges of manslaughter and the using of a firearm to commit a felony, rather than the initial charge of murder which was proffered against him.
The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions says it decided to accept the plea to the lesser offense of manslaughter in the Julian Silvera case because it had no evidence in light of what occurred at the residence when the deceased was shot and killed. It says, having heard Mr. Silvera's account, the prosecution would not have been able to evidentially negate the partial defense of provocation raised by him. The former Member of Parliament for Western St. Mary is set to be sentenced on March 6.
So let us say that he was provoked and he killed his wife and he went away. And I believe that when he went away, he went somewhere to tamper with the barrel of the gun. I believe that's where that would have happened, you know, because him start to cover in tracks now. Now, if that don't scream premeditated to me, I don't know where this DPP came from. She can't possibly be the same one that has been there for many years and have so much experience. Something not add up, Jamaica. Something not right. See?
After pleading guilty to manslaughter in relation to the shooting death of his wife, Melissa.
Well, early on Thursday, Chief Justice Brian Sykes accepted Silvera's guilty plea. The former lawmaker has also pleaded guilty to using a firearm to commit a felony. The decision has led to an outpouring of shock and outrage on social media.
Thank you, Bahiri. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions has since issued a media release on the matter, and we will now read that media release in full.
That's right. It was issued on the 5th of February 2026, sometime last evening, and it heads with prosecution accepts guilty plea in the matter of Rex v. Julian Silvera. And it starts on and it says, on the 2nd day of February 2026, the trial of the matter of Rex v. Julian Silvera was scheduled to commence before the Honorable Mr. Justice Brian Sykes, Chief Justice for the island of Jamaica. On said date, Mr. Silvera was pleaded to the indictment charging him with using a firearm to commit a felony, to wit murder, and count 1, murder of Mrs. Melissa Silvera, count 2. In response to the charges, Mr. Silvera pleaded in respect to count 1, not guilty of using a firearm to commit a felony, to wit murder, but guilty to manslaughter, and count 2 in respect not guilty to murder, but guilty to manslaughter.
Upon hearing the pleas entered by Mr. Silvera, the prosecution indicated to the court that the defense would have to provide the basis on which it is asking the prosecution to accept a plea to the lesser offense of manslaughter, as it did not arise on the prosecution's case. The case was then part heard to the third day of February 2026. On the third day of February 2026, Mr. Silvera was repleaded on count 1 of the indictment, and to which he pleaded not guilty of using a firearm to commit a felony, to wit murder, but guilty to using a firearm to commit a felony, to wit manslaughter. And when they say to wit here, it simply means in the furtherance of manslaughter, right? To wit manslaughter.
Well, it continues, listeners, that on the night of the second day of February 2026, the defense provided a statement authored and signed by Mr. Silvera to the prosecution. The statement in summary was that on the night of the 10th day of November 2023, Mr. Silvera and his wife, the deceased, had an argument which got physical. He indicated that during the argument, she blamed him, as she always did, for the death of their young son. He went on to state that during the argument, she hurled several expletives at him and made derogatory statements about his sister and mother, which he found to be provocative. He stated further that during the argument, she made a comment about their children, which he found to be the final straw, and at that point, he lost control, discharged his weapon in her direction.
He stated that it was not his intention to hurt or kill her that night, and that having done so, he panicked and left the apartment. He stated that over the course of the days following her death, he thought about his children losing both parents, and thus made the decision to not admit to what he had done. On the third day of February 2026, the defense outlined the contents of the said statement to the court. In response, the prosecution made submissions on whether it was proper in law to accept the pleas entered by Mr. Silvera.
We just read the first part of the statement, which essentially outlined the reasoning provided by Mr. Silvera as to what took place on that night of the 10th day of November 2023, where Mrs. Silvera was killed. And now we will continue the statement where the prosecution says, in response to the statement provided by Mr. Silvera, the prosecution made submissions on whether it was proper in law to accept the pleas entered by Mr. Silvera. The prosecution's case was based on circumstantial evidence and the ballistic findings. The prosecution had the evidence of the following: 1, what occurred before Mrs. Silvera was killed, what occurred after the deceased was killed, and the subsequent events. It says the prosecution did not have evidence of what happened at the time Mrs. Silvera was killed. And having heard Mr. Silvera's account of what took place when he shot the deceased, the prosecution took the decision, after assessing the evidence and subject to the court's approval, to accept the plea to the lesser offense of manslaughter for the following reasons.
Now, before we go any further, my people, don't get me to at least 70 thumbs up. There's 170 of us here now. Now, you and your wife kick off, we don't have an argument. And you take out your gun and you shot your wife. Mr. Silvera is telling us that he take out his gun and shot his wife. But the official statement that we played earlier said that they argued and he left and the pickety then find their mother dead. So which one is the truth? This is bringing more question than answer, and it was the DPP job to go out there and get the answers for the public, because this is in the interest of the public. See? This is in the interest of the public for them to go after this brother here and find the truth so we can know. Melissa had a right to life and a right to live. So does any of us. And that could have been any one of us. So therefore, they have the right to get justice for any one of us. The DPP have blundered. And the DPP has failed. And tonight, after hearing all of this, I am calling for the resignation of the DPP. Me, I call for it. And I believe that Jamaica should join me in calling for the removal of this DPP. She did not do her job properly. And it is evident. We'll continue to listen.
One, that there is no evidence in the prosecution's possession that can speak to what occurred at the residence when the deceased was shot and killed by the defendant. Two, having heard Mr. Silvera's account, the prosecution would not have been able to evidentially negative the partial defense of provocation raised by him. Three, further, the prosecution is cognizant of the fact that in light of the account given by Mr. Silvera, having raised the partial defense of provocation.
Guys, we not get to 50 thumbs up yet, you know. Remember, say, we ask for 100 thumbs up per live. There's almost 200 of us. I'm going to see if you can get me to 100 thumbs up. Just double tap the phone screen or hit the three dots in the right-hand corner of the screen. Hit the thumbs up button. Or if you're seeing the thumbs up button, otherwise, just hit the thumbs up button and do subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber. See, we'll continue to listen.
The court would have a duty to direct the jury on the defense of provocation and the effect would have on the count of murder. That is to reduce it to manslaughter. So before we continue, Saeed, you're the legal mind. Can you explain to us, our listeners, the basis here provided by the prosecution in more simple terms?
They're simply saying they didn't have evidence to negative an assertion of manslaughter. There's no evidence on their file to negative that assertion. They were not there that night. Nobody knows what happened that night. But based on the defendants.
So who is there on any night when somebody is murdered, or any day that somebody is murdered? Was the DPP there when somebody else is murdered? For example, the taxi man would chop up in woman and her daughter and kill them, and he got a life sentence this morning. See? Were they there when he was chopping up him girlfriend and her daughter and killing them? A one rule for one set of people and one rule for the other. You don't look for the amount of hole when they're in this case. It is absolute bullshit. And the DPP must go. And Jamaica should join me in asking for the removal of this DPP.
Statement as to what took place that night, it would raise the partial defense, and that partial defense of provocation would have to be put by the judge to the jury once it arose on the defense's case. And the effect of that is a jury could come back to say, we're not finding him guilty of murder, we're finding him guilty of manslaughter, especially in a case where, again, there is nothing in the defense's case to say it could not have been manslaughter. There's nothing on their case to say that. And so what happens is when someone is charged for murder, you can be pleaded or you can be convicted for a lesser offense, which is manslaughter. And I'm sure in Program Sparrow, the charges have been explained, but to be succinct, with manslaughter, you're saying on one hand, you did not have the intent, or on another hand, so that's involuntary, or voluntarily, you didn't really have the intent. It was a heat of the moment, provocation, for example, as in this case where the defendant says that, based on what was said, it caused him to lose his school, and then certain things happened. So that is that. Number 4, the prosecution says that having been guided by the authority, this is case law of Gainier, Hansen, and the King, which is a decision from the Court of Appeal, the prosecution took the view that where Mr. Silvera gives an account on a guilty plea that supports the offense in the case of manslaughter, the court can properly accept the plea. In Gainier Hansen, that's the case just cited, the applicant had pleaded guilty to murder, but maintained that he had not intended to kill the deceased. The court, in dealing with the issue of the murder manslaughter, was of the view that the applicant's version did not support a murder conviction, and therefore the trial judge should not have accepted a plea to murder. The court was of the view that manslaughter was the more appropriate offense. The prosecution was further guided by the authority of Perlina Wright and the King, which is a case dealing with the fact that a judge in a sentencing hearing should sentence the convict on the facts most favorable to the convict. That is the law. And I'm going to repeat that aspect of it, Siobhan. The prosecution was further guided by the authority of Perlina Wright and the King, which is a case dealing with the fact that a judge in a sentencing hearing should sentence the convict on the facts most favorable to a convict. Though it is a case dealing with sentencing, the principle is applicable to Mr. Silvera's case in that neither the prosecution nor the court could ignore the version given by Mr. Silvera, especially in circumstances where the prosecution could not disprove the account given by him.
Uncle Joshua, because your number in this device what I use now, I can't stop forget it, so just add 01144. See? So remove the star and put 01144 and the rest of the number, and you should be able to find it. See? So if I can't find it with star 44, put 01144 and then the rest of the number. See?
In the interest of justice and transparency, they have outlined the facts as constituted on their case file.
That's right, listeners. So the facts as outlined in the case file put forward by the Office of the DPP says that sometime after 10:30 p.m. on the 10th day of November 2023, Julian Silvera told his wife, Mrs. Silvera, and the children that he was leaving to attend a meeting and that he would return the following day. Mrs. Silvera told him he could not leave, and an argument ensued. And that, according to them, was extracted from the statement of the two children they shared. The adults swore at each other, and then he left. Sometime before 6 a.m. on the 11th day of November 2023, one of the children, who was 10 years of age at the time, went into his parents' bedroom and discovered his mother's lifeless body on the floor next to their bed. He noticed that there was blood coming from her orifices and that her dress was covered with blood. He ran from the bedroom and...
So the police will go up on the scene, never see that. If you pitney, they can't say them see that. Police will go up on the scene, never see that there. And this has been a cover-up from the gate. This has been covering up. And it was the DPP's job to go out and find the evidence. A regular we send people to prison for circumstantial evidence. We don't have no gun, we don't have no weapon, we don't have no body, we don't have nothing, but we send people to prison for circumstantial evidence. The gun was tampered with, the crime scene was tampered with, and we had the body, we had the children saying there was an argument. See? And because of the argument, he killed the woman. That is premeditated murder.
Alerted his brother, who accompanied him back to his parents' bedroom, where they both checked for signs of life from her body. They tried to make contact with their father using the Messenger Kid application on their digital device and were eventually successful.
Mr. Silvera has indicated, and again, this is what is on the file of the Crown. Mr. Silvera has indicated in a witness statement that he called the Stony Hill police station whilst on way home, and he had spoken to his son. Upon arrival at his house and I will not state the address, well, it's in the public domain, so might as well, at 2A Diamond Court, Stony Hill in the parish of St. Andrew, Mr. Silvera went into his bedroom based on the statements from his children and saw his wife in a sitting position with her head leaning forward at the side of the bed. He touched her, spoke to her, and found that she was not responding. Sometime after, the first responder, who was an officer of the Stony Hill police station, arrived at the house and went into the bedroom where he saw the body of Melissa Silvera. He took a photograph of the body with his Samsung cellular telephone, and Mr. Silvera cried out. He had Mr. Silvera cover the nudist section of the body. The first responder did not further examine the body as Mr. Silvera was still crying. The first responder, after learning from Mr. Silvera that Mrs. Silvera had no known medical condition, indicated that a post-mortem examination would be conducted to determine the cause of death. He then contacted the House of Tranquility Funeral Home for the removal of the body, and he then left. When the morgue attendant arrived at the house and the body was removed and taken to the morgue, a post-mortem examination was scheduled to take place on the 1st day of December 2023. On this date, the pathologist discovered that there were scars on the body.
The statement continues that the post-mortem examination was conducted on the 15th day of December 2023 at the Tranquility Funeral Home. The pathologist noted that there were 3 gunshot wounds, 1 perforating gunshot wound to the front of the right thigh, 1 penetrating gunshot wound to the left side of the lower abdomen, and the third is a superficial penetrating gunshot wound to the right side of the lower abdomen.
Siobhan, I'm going to ask if you could read that over just a bit slower, because a lot has been circulating in the public sphere as to where the gunshot wounds were. And I think it is important to be clear, patently clear, on where the wounds were found.
Yeah, so as I said, I will read that over. The pathologist noted that there were 3 gunshot wounds, 1 perforating gunshot wound to the front of the right thigh, 1 penetrating gunshot wound to the left side of the lower abdomen, and the third is a superficial penetrating gunshot wound to the right side of the lower abdomen. The pathologist removed 2 projectiles from her body, which were handed over to the police. The pathologist opined that the immediate cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds. The statement then goes on to say that the detectives and the first responder returned to Mr. Silvera's home on the 16th day of December 2023. Upon entering the bedroom, it was noticed that the floor was now tiled, the furniture sprayed over, the mattress was replaced with a new one, and the walls were painted. The children's room was also tiled. Mr. Silvera indicated that no one had told him that he could not make the changes to the room.
Mr. Silvera's iPhone and firearms, for which he held a license, were taken by the police for examination and testing. The projectiles removed from the body of Mr. Silvera was compared to test fires taken from Mr. Silvera's gun by the ballistics expert in 2024. The expert saw level 1 matching, class and characteristics, and some amount of level 2 matching. As a result of his findings, the expert contacted FLA and requested the test fires in their possession from Mr. Silvera's Glock pistol, which were taken in 2013. A comparison was done between the test fires from FLA and the projectiles from the body of the deceased, and they matched. For example, they were fired from Silvera's Glock pistol. The ballistics expert indicated that there was corrosion to the barrel of the firearm. The firearm has been inspected by FLA on the 29th of September 2023, and there were no signs of tampering. At the conclusion of the ballistics examination, Mr. Silvera was arrested and charged for the offenses of using a firearm to commit a felony and a murder. Mr. Silvera is represented by King's Counsel Peter Champagne and Miss Patrice Riley, whilst the prosecution was represented by Mr. Dwayne Green, Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions, and Miss Deborah Bryan, Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions. That is the 5-page release from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions as to their acceptance of the guilty plea in the matter concerning the King and Julian Silvera.
And just to note, listeners, it was prepared and signed by Dwayne Green, that is the Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions at the Office of the DPP. It is not signed by the DPP herself, Claudette Thompson.
Okay, so maybe we'll be a little bit harsh for the DPP if she never have the involvement in this, so we might have to roll that back a little bit in asking for her resignation. But whoever handled this case and prosecuted this case, and the buck would stop with her, they must step aside. I don't know. If they charge him for murder and charge him for manslaughter and then say there's no evidence to charge him for murder, then how comes there's evidence to charge him for manslaughter? And why we never try him for murder and then try him for manslaughter also, and then whichever one he get, he take then? It better we do that. Because if there's not enough evidence to charge him for murder, how comes there's enough evidence to charge him for manslaughter? This was a cook up, my people. Wanna give me a second, let me turn on the phone lines so we can start the calling. See? We're back. See? Now I saw a person saying that, maybe they would have got a comrade jury, and because of that, you know, he would have gotten away and all kind of horse dead and cow fat. Now, what is the purpose of having a system if we can't use it? You know, it just don't make no sense. And I don't know. This could have been anyone away. This could have been one of my girl pickity them. Could have been one of my sister them. It could have been something, you know. And I believe Uncle Josh this, you know. Alright, my man.
Sure.
Good evening, Uncle Josh.
Yeah. So this is the correct number.
Yes, man. This is the correct number. The phone line was not on yet. You know, because we tend to get calls in the midst and they mess with the audio, so you know.
Okay. Because I sent you 4 test up, and I noticed not one of them clicked. So I began to say to myself, I wonder if I did the wrong thing.
No, man, right number, you know. What we normally do, Uncle Josh, we normally get up a panel on WhatsApp, you know, similar to what we do on TikTok, except everybody's in the box there. But you know,
at the same time, right?
Yeah, we're going to get up a panel on here. You know, So in an interim, Uncle Josh, how you feel about this whole case? Give me your analysis. Break it down for me.
All right. So there are too many questions.
Yes.
I don't know if your audience is hearing me, but if they are hearing me, I want to say good evening. I want to greet everyone and say good evening.
Yes.
To every single one. Whether they agree with us or disagree with us, good evening. There are too many questions. And, you know, if I am not the DPP and I'm lacking information, I am not even associated with the case and I'm lacking information also. But when I just heard of this case and the proposal to settle for the lesser charge of manslaughter, I called a cousin of mine who's a lawyer.
Yes.
And I asked her what would be the reason why defense would go for the lesser charge as opposed to the other.
Yes.
And she said to me, she didn't call Sylvia's name, she didn't call the party that is associated with name.
Yes.
But she said to me, it is one out of 2 reasons or both why they would choose to do that. She said that they realized that it is a case which is impossible for them to win or have difficulty winning, why they would accept. Or 2, they defend the cover others.
Yeah.
Right? That's what she said to me. I must have viewed that it's both. Why do I feel so? As a lay person on the outside, listening to the facts of the case. I didn't listen to everything that you played a while ago.
Yes.
But let me tell you what I know so far. That her life was taken. That's the first thing. That's irrefutable.
Yes.
That is why we're here.
Yes.
2, he did not reach out to law enforcement immediately.
Yes.
That for me is a red flag, which speaks to not only panic, but that it can indicate that someone was deliberate in their act to get not another person.
Yep.
And thirdly, that where the projectile went, it went into the tummy, not in the face, not in the chest, but in the tummy.
Yeah.
Which indicates that he's looking for the softest part of the body to muffle the sound.
Yeah.
Right? The other reason is that another fact that came from the case is that he reached out to a member of the party that he represented.
Yep.
To have the bed replaced, the mattress replaced.
Yes.
which means that he was coherent enough to think that if they come, they're going to see blood in the mattress, and I can't explain why this blood is here.
Yes.
Another reason is that, and I don't think it was mentioned in the report a while ago, is that he tried to cremate the body. Another reason is that he tried to offer the police someone, either him or associated with him, tried to offer the police $150,000 to submit a false search. Another reason is that the barrel of the gun was tampered with.
All of this, Uncle Josh, is this in the reports? Do we know if these stuff are in the report?
I have not seen the case. I have not seen the case summation.
Yes.
From what we have heard already, it's not there.
Okay.
Right. I have not seen the case summation.
Yes.
Right. But it's interesting that all of these things has happened because it's interesting that all of these things should happen because, and then in addition to that, the retying of the room, but before you can get to retying, you first have to dig up.
There's a feedback.
Right?
Somebody that have them device need to turn down the device. Are you, Uncle Josh, turn on your device for you? Anybody else that have
I literally turned off the sound, but I logged out of it. Are you still hearing it?
I don't know. Dennis, up me your mic, we'll see for you. I'm not doing, so we'll see for Dennis.
Hear me answer, man. Hear what me answer. Hear me answer. There was an argument on the 10th of November between the parties. She was murdered on the 11th.
Yes.
The argument they had that he had a meeting at 10 o'clock or whatever, and she said he could not leave. Right?
Yes.
The children, one of the children, a 10-year-old, gave a statement and said that he came down, he came and saw his mother's body covered with blood. And he went and called his brother. You see where it's not adding up here? They had an argument on the 10th, and she was murdered on the 11th. The policeman came.
Which shows premeditation.
The policeman came. Right, so it was that is why that's why this is where the DPP and the rest of them blunder. The police sergeant, based on his experience, if him sister him couldn't handle that, he should have called for. But what about his report? What about the report that he was supposed to present? I remember. Let me tell you. I remember when I was living in Portmore. There was these two guys who were killed right beside me one night. They were killed right next to me.
Sorry, someone is feeding back. I'm hearing a feedback.
Right?
I don't know if I play you through my speaker, because I have a speaker on my play you through.
And as a result,
might be that, so.
As a result, guys, the policeman, that era is a crime scene, and it should have been secured in the first place. You're supposed to come, dry your yellow tape, and even if he had a challenge, that sergeant with experience, he should have called for backup. He should have called for assistance. You understand? Him come and take one picture. Him take one picture of her in a nude state.
All right, we can come in now.
It's not adding up.
Come to doing. Hold on, Dennis. Come to.
Can I come in now?
Yeah, man.
All right. So, based on the report that I just heard, and the steps that the sergeant take, basically the sergeant not doing work.
Yeah, man.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
It is saying, the report is saying that the sergeant left the scene and left the body there. That is not supposed to happen in far farm. You are to stay on the scene until the body is moved. So, let me kind of take you guys through the steps of dealing with a sudden death.
Because of the person we might deal with, he might but if I was intimidated,
no. The person who you are dealing with doesn't come into play.
I know that, but I am saying, it shouldn't come into play. I think that might have what happened, but if I was there and I felt intimidated, I would have called for one of my superiors, but
no, sometimes calling for your superior is not the best thing. Well, sometimes as the lay policeman, basically, and you go on the scene, you do what you know you're supposed to do.
Could he handle all of that? Because if him just come there and take one picture of the murder scene, and what have you, nothing more.
This is what I'm
saying. So
don't you see that something is not adding up? It's not adding up because the policeman, you're supposed to take different pictures from different angles.
No. Here's where we are go on the TV thing. Let me take you through the regular Jamaican police steps. So you get a call of a sudden death. You are going to be dispatched to the scene. You are not supposed to go, as a police, you are not supposed to go on the scene by yourself. Because you always need another police there to corroborate whatever you are saying. Alright? So you go on the scene. You have to do a chronological you have to do a chronological and in-depth
breakdown. Chronological and in-depth breakdown of the steps.
No statement. So you speak to the first person's information. You get that person's account of what happened. When you get the account of what that person said happened, you enter wherever the body is. You start to scan that room. When you're in that room, you have to have in take a report that was made to you by and see how much of the person, see how much of it with what you're seeing in front of you.
All right, so we are doing. Let me ask you something. Based on what we don't know or what we were told that happened, do you change your position from this morning? Have you changed your position from this morning that it is premeditated murder?
No, I cannot change my position, and this is what I've been trying to explain to you guys from this morning.
All right. When you're responding at night time.
Hold on. 1 second. You don't have any evidence before the act was committed. You only have an account after the act is committed.
So let me ask you a question. Dwayne. May I argue? Right? I'm gonna tell you, yo, fussy, me go murder you. Suck out your mother. And then tomorrow they find your body. The prosecution wasn't there.
As long as you have a witness that can say,
but the children
heard him say that
the children on the 10th said that they were having an argument. They had an argument. She was murdered on the 11th, and the gun that was used to murder the lady is that man's gun.
All right, allow Joshua, Uncle Josh, to come back in. Come in, Uncle Josh.
Yes, sir. Thanks. So I want to continue with the information that was received so far. Right? I went as far as to say that the floor was retiled and other forms of renovation as we have received. Now, before the floor can be retired, it first has to be dug up,
Yes.
which means that a call would have had to be made to workmen.
Yes.
If it's not his workmen, they would have had to discuss price. If it's his workmen, they would have had to be told what they're coming there to do and collect their tools, right?
Yes.
And somebody would have had to take away the rubble before even the tiles. And which hardware did you go to purchase new tiles if he didn't have tiles at home? Because I feel to believe that he would just have tiles seated there,
Yes.
right? Now, in addition to that, he reached out to one of his political friends to say, purchase me a new mattress, which means that this is one of the first states where we know that someone else outside of the police is aware of a crime being committed. Why? How do we know this? Because you did not reach out to me last week to say, hey, I'm having a little financial difficulty and my mattress has gotten old and I need a new mattress. The fact that the friend declined in purchasing the mattress, it implies that they would have thought that, hey, something funny happening here and I cannot get my hands dirty, right? And so that is why I believe that that political friend declined for that very reason, because he did not want to be seen as an accessory to the crime or an accomplice, right, in the crime. So he declined, which means that someone else, for the first time, we can safely say that this person was aware. Yeah. Now, on the matter of the police, before we get to the police, the person who cleaned up the crime scene, right, the person who says that it was just a little bit of blood, the doctor who came and checked. You want to tell me that a doctor came, she's not fully clothed, she's seated in her chair, you're checking for causes as to whether the person is still alive or dead, and you did not notice any blood, and yet the information came out that, one, it was aneurysm, and two, a fourth person we can now place either at the scene or who has knowledge of it, which is the lead of the position, which says that she died peacefully in her sleep. How did you get that information? Did you just accept the information, or did you try to find out when did she die and what happened?
Yep.
Right? And I would feel to believe that the leader of the opposition would have heard he died and not offered to come over. And if he offered to come over, we can almost place him at the scene. If he did not offer to come over, why did he not? Did he hear something that let him say, I don't want to be there personally? In whichever way, it means that he's aware, at very least, marginally aware. Now, as it relates to the matter of the police, I don't believe that he was not taught how to process the scene properly. I thought that he was being unprofessional, right? And this is where familiarity spoils everything, because why would you have called for a specific police coming? Why did it not follow protocol to walk with another police officer, right? And irrespective of who the person is, your job as a professional is to remain professional in the course of your duty, to say to the person, you cannot stay in this room, and yell at the area and do your check. I'm not going to beat him altogether, because had it not been for that photo, we would have no case at all today. The cover-ups would have, basically the investigation to the depths by which it got to. Except for that photograph, we wouldn't have been able to follow through on that investigation. So I will at least give him credit for that. But as it relates to allowing himself to be distracted because of familiarity, I'll hold him accountable.
Hear me I say, man. Hear me I say, Virgin. Hear me I say. This thing here, every step of the way when you check it out, people have been trying to cover their tracks. The parties had an argument on the 10th of November. On the 11th, she was murdered. The post-mortem was done on the 15th of November. And at the same time, there's so much loophole in this thing here. Look, I am saying, for a person to die under that questionable circumstance, Who pronounced that body? How is it the body just left out? The policeman just ordered the body to go at tranquility and all of that. Those things are not adding up. You can't, if a person die under that questionable circumstance, the police is supposed to take a detailed report.
Well, that is where I was going. That is where I was going, my brother. Sorry. Let me just finish. Let me just finish with this. This is where I have a problem, because when the police came and took the photo and he realized that the police was going to do his duty, there's something that we must pay attention to. That the report says that he cried out loud. It was intended as a distraction to take the police away from doing his job. Your job was not to comfort him. Your job is to focus on your duty. Right? And the police failed.
I need to ask a question where I think everybody listening, you know.
Hello.
Let me ask the question and then you can continue, brother.
Sure.
If according to the report, right, the children them came and saw their mother in blood, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And he was on his way home. Listen to me very carefully, everybody, because me I go leave the mic and make sure everybody answers me. He was on his way home when the children called him, right?
Yes.
And he, in turn, on his way home, called the police. When that policeman turned up, how would that policeman not see the same amount of blood the children were looking at?
And more. And that's hello. And that's why I wanted to say something before, because if you listen to the news report, the children's account is totally different from the father's account. I think the report said the children, the statement from the child said the mother was on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yet when the police came, the mother was on the bed.
Was on a chair.
No, on the chair, not on the bed.
Mm-hmm.
On the chair.
That is where I when the gentleman said if it wasn't for the police, it hurts because there's no separate the members of the host and scene and have them in questioning separately.
No. Hello. All right. I'm trying to give you guys an understanding from the police point of view, because this is something that I have dealt with on numerous occasions. Suicide, sudden death. It's a straightforward thing. It states that the husband also said that his wife doesn't have any known illnesses. So from the wife doesn't have any known illnesses, an autopsy has to be done.
So let me ask you a question, Dewey.
It has to be.
Are you telling me, Dewey, that police officer turned up and did not realize that Mrs. Sylvia sitting on the chair, was bleeding through parts of her body from gunshot wounds? Because when you get shot, you're supposed to bleed.
Jordan. You hear the question I mean, because the postman still agree on the question, you know.
No, I'm not going around the question. Listen, what I'm trying to explain to you guys is this. You guys are discussing the thing from a point of view of not knowing police procedure.
No, from the report.
I am trying to, listen, put the report aside.
No, we can't.
I'm trying to give you an understanding of the police procedure that needed to be. If the police had done his job, the police would have checked the body for marks of violence.
That's why we can't put the
because that is something that you have. That is something that you have to do when you go onto this case, onto a sudden death case.
The police blundered in this case, and that is a fact. You know, and the people.
And that is the reason why. That is the reason why you basically do not have evidence to support a premeditated act.
So let me ask you a question.
Sir, I'm just asking you a while ago.
Hold on, Nicola, let me ask him something. Hold on, Nicola. So let us say that somebody is poisoned and about a week after that person is buried. That person is buried with all of their organs, by the way. And about a week after that person is buried, police get a report that that person was poisoned. You know, how do we get
here what happened
evidence?
Here what happened. If a person is poisoned, and you go on the scene, when that person goes for the post-mortem to be done, blood. All right, better yet, let me explain this way. You go on the scene, you go on a sudden death scene, meaning the person has died of any form, any cause other than a willful act where he was stabbed or something. He's dead. You would be assuming it's natural causes. And you go on that scene.
Yes.
If there isn't a medical history to support a specific illness that may have caused the demise of that person.
We do these things.
Hold on, man. When that person, an autopsy has to be done on that body.
Yes.
If there is no medical history to support that the person had cancer, so the person may have died from cancer.
Answer the question, because I don't think that's the man that's saying.
Listen, man, I'm getting to it. An autopsy has to be done. When the autopsy is done, blood samples has to be taken to test to see if there's poison in the blood.
Yes, we not say no. See, and what me I said here is right. That officer that turned up on the scene, right? The one officer that turned up on the scene, is it not his job to process the crime scene? Yes or no?
Yes, and I'm telling you that he did not do it. He did not do what he was supposed to do.
That is where he blundered.
If that policeman messed up big time, because
when you come on, Dennis, when me I try to get that, the policeman could have blundered, and not do his job, See, but because you're not getting evidence today, that means you can't get it tomorrow. How we find evidence on case from 20 years ago, 30 years ago. See? The DPP and them
hold on. Let me answer that. Let me answer it now. Let me answer that question now.
Yeah.
That is the reason why you have a specific process to carry out. You have one thing you call coroner's court, where an inquiry is done to find out what is the cause of what had caused that person's death. You also, you as the police, you have to a sudden death file, and your sudden death file is completed until you get the result of the autopsy.
I'm not with the lady have to say. Why you have to say that? Because I don't really get no result from what the brother they are saying.
All right. What I'm saying that.
Wait. You see, we are all here to learn and understand. All right? Because you don't understand a process doesn't mean that you can't open up your mind.
Yeah,
for someone who has done it and gone through the procedure to explain certain things to you.
This point,
but I was saying something when you came in, I was saying something where I was saying to the children are big enough. What based on the crime scene shows that I've watched, like true crime things that I've watched, what I've seen them done is once you go in that household, as you say, you should have examined the body. But I mean, the members of the household are taken in. where you question each, so they're kids, so you're going to take them apart. You're going to question them. And based on you questioning them, they would open up to you because no adult is around to say, oh, they feel scared or anything of the sort. So what you're saying to me, based on you are counter saying with what you're saying, it means that we are not doing job well, because if the child should have been the first one to expose this crime, and if the child is not, it was the police when the child has seen that. So how can a child be like having that experience? And it means that that child was going through trauma, severe trauma, you know, before the police found out that he saw that, you know. So that's what I'm saying.
So let me ask the question. Who took the statement from the children then?
All right, this is what me I try to understand, to explain again. You are trained to deal with children, especially children with soft hands because of the trauma there. So it's going to take a period of time. It's going to take a period of time before you can even get to question the children in the correct way.
But we're doing it back way. We're doing it back way because children can't see it. So what you're we're doing it back way. Because I've seen it where they have it's soft. Just you're saying that they're soft and whatever. They have special. We need special people to deal with children. So immediately, because memory. You see the memory issue. They could have had that, you know, the child could have had a bad memory issue where they didn't remember the scene. But because there was somebody in place as soon as the incident occurred and the questions that were asked and they request, which is the police would have request for the child to be, you know, inquired, questioned by the soft person as you speak, they would have found out. But if we don't have that in hand, it means that we're way behind, because the child should have been the first one to expose that there was a crime. Because they saw the pool of blood, but when and it means that he did the crime, left the children, and come and had them seen. This man is cool now, man, and I don't do.
Hold on. The Virgin are trying to explain some things where really make the police them look really shabby in my view.
That's the long and short of it. I'm not. If that's how you guys do it, let me tell you, there's a big.
Hold on,
questions on the report when you hear it. I don't want that dwell upon things when I go give me no result on the report.
The procedure what the guy is telling you about is standard procedure. But it's standard procedure. That is standard procedure. But the police never followed that. No, but they didn't follow he didn't follow the correct procedure, because as me I say, something of nature, a crime of that nature, which is basically under controversial circumstance, because she never died naturally. You alone, even if you come there with a book to take your step, you're still gonna need a colleague to help you, to swab down, to give you a second opinion, and because you alone could not decipher all that was happening there. So you would need
hold on. Let me ask you one question and make you answer, because answer. Let me agree say
you're no police, you know.
Yeah, but if sound like you, we answer it better, because we are talking on the report enough. But we make sense we go over things in the report where we can't cipher out. See? Like how the children them wake up, see their mother dead on the floor, full of blood. He must hand his way home. And then call him. And him said, in return, him call the police and him way home. And whatever. Me I say, when the policeman turn up, what did he not see? What did he not see where the pitney them never see?
He not see no blood. He would have seen no blood.
He would have seen everything that the children see. He saw everything that the children had seen. And probably more.
Well, we are going to say, Jylan reached there before him and clean up the crime scene.
The place was cleaned up. The blood was cleaned up.
When me want to ask the policeman and the panel is, see, now that the children said that their mother and father was arguing, and we hear from the report that he said that they were arguing about the child that died and she had called his mother and sister derogatory things, and he took out his gun and shot her 3 times. Do you still hold your position that this was a premeditated act? Do you? Unmute yourself.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. We never do something new. All right. Hear me. It is clear cut. It is a clear and it is without a doubt that the man murdered his wife.
In cold blood.
In cold blood. There's no doubt there. But what I'm trying to explain to you guys is this. We know that he did it. But if you don't have the evidence to support another theory than the theory that he is giving,
right,
and saying, listen,
as a policeman, tell us how we get the evidence for charging him for murder. Tell us how we get the evidence for charging him for murder. Because nobody was
when it comes to murder, let me ask
you the question. What is the lack of evidence? What did they know? That's why we can't charge him for murder.
All right, so there in Jamaican law, there are certain points that you have to use to prove murder. And I think it's 5 of them. I can't remember them offhand. But if one of those points is missing, you cannot charge the person for capital murder. Problem is with the Jamaican system is that we don't have a...
I remember them coming one.
We don't have to look you up, you know. We don't have a second degree murder. We have something named manslaughter. Manslaughter is basically a charge that is there for accidental death.
You see where it means that our judiciary system, it needs review.
So what is accidental about this test? The thing that is accidental about this test is that there is no evidence there to support the wishful, the premeditated thinking of the man.
What is lacking? That was the question before. You know, what is lacking? What is lacking?
You don't have a witness to say more killing wife. But say, all right, me here and say more killing wife. You don't have any preparatory steps that were taken, like in change the barrel out of a gun and shoot her, and then put him back at different barrel. You don't have anything like that to point to him thinking about the act, considering the act, and then putting it into play.
That is the reason why.
So, brethren, look how much case me know of. We try and capital murder without somebody hearing say them say the person.
Can I chime in about conversation now?
They not kill a person in a fight.
Or get Uncle Joshua a long time in
what the man is basically saying, you know? What the man is basically saying, you know, is that him and his wife had a fight. And he acted during the spur of the moment of the fight and kill her. That is basically what the man is saying. There is nothing else there.
But listen to this. The state have an obligation to go and prove him wrong. They have the obligation to go and do that. To prove him wrong. And they fail.
DUJON.
Yeah.
What I am looking at too is there
from what I've seen from a crime that was committed when I was living in Jamaica, the police is supposed to visit the crime scene. All right. They would have secured the crime scene and, do their necessary investigation, and they would come there more than 1 and 2 times. But from this report, I am not seeing anything like this, that because it's only one occasion it appears as if that this police sergeant was there and what have you, and after they move the body and what have you. We're not hearing, we can't see much.
All right, listen. And this is the other thing that we are not taking into consideration. When the police went there, based on what the police saw, it was not a quote unquote crime scene in the sense of a murder scene. He went on the scene of where the police blundered. The police should have checked the body for marks of violence.
If the police had checked the body for... Hold on, me here said that already. Me here said that already. Wait. Me here said that already. So when the body go for the post-mortem and then find a like bruise them like a foreign and find a gunshot them, that not give them evidence what they want now? Can they find bruise?
Yeah, that gives them hold on. That gives them the evidence that they want. Say a killing occurred.
Yes.
But it does not give them the evidence that it was a premeditated killing. Remember, I know. And this is what I try to tell you guys from this morning. Every single thing that we're hearing is what happened after the lady was killed. It happened after the lady was killed. Every single thing happened after the lady was killed. Before.
So what happened to the argument the day before? That not come into question.
The argument the day before doesn't necessarily mean that it results in him killing her. They argued.
I'd like to come.
They argued.
All right, make Uncle Josh.
It would mean that, it would mean that because
Uncle Josh come in, make him come in. Him never say nothing for a while. So come in, Uncle Josh.
Mm-hmm.
And then
all right,
kill him.
So, with all due respect, constable, or whatever your kids, I disagree.
No, I was farmer. I'm not in it anymore.
Yeah, but I disagree. And let me tell you why. There was an argument the day before, right? But he stated that the argument was the same night. That's a conflicting report. 2 conflicting reports there. The kids say that was before. He said it was the same night, and he told his wife that he's going out. Right? 2 conflicting reports immediately. So that's cause for doubt. The second thing is that after the killing, he left her there, and then said that while he was out, the kid called him.
So he allowed the kid?
No. I'm not even reaching about allowing the kid. Since if you left her there alive, and then suddenly it was found out that you were out to the point that the kid called you. When did you return to kill her and then went back out again? You must have returned, did the job, and went back out, or you paid somebody who she's familiar with, who is going to come in as a consoler to say, hey, I hear that John, your husband, had a little bit of running, and I'm sorry. Somebody who she would not expect is going to do something like that. Then the other thing is that the officer said that there's no sign of him tampering with the gun. But that's not what the summary said, sir.
You said it.
It's not really.
Well, I am just paraphrasing.
And I said again, and I will say again. Everything that we are hearing and that the reports are giving us is what happened after the lady was killed.
Right, but
no matter, you know.
And though it happened, hold on, though it happened afterwards, the fact that you attempt to divert attention from you by tampering with the firearm, it doesn't speak to, in my mind, manslaughter, because manslaughter would have said, I would have picked up the phone and called my lawyer immediately and tell my lawyer what happened, and then my lawyer.
Give me a thought for the mic. Give me a thought for the mic, because we need to ask the question. One on the DUJON. Let me ask the question, because him always come back and I try to say it's after the fact, but we ask the question then before the fact. The one where the brother just say, where him and the woman have an argument, him left, come back, and kill the woman and left again. That's before the fact, right? That is the part where we want to talk about. The children, them.
What evidence? What evidence? What evidence?
This is let's supply the evidence that you're asking for. Let us supply the evidence that you're asking for.
Let me tell the brother my mind, because you mean
no. Let us take the emotion out of it, my friend. Let us take the emotion out of it.
No. Me have to tell him, man, because
everybody is dealing with this thing from an emotional point of view.
Hold on.
You guys are doing with
emotion. Listen what I said to him. Him keep on and say the evidence, right? But when him at point to is only what my man said. Only feed him words valid. Right? Are that you try to tell me?
Sounds like it.
So hold on. All right. Let me ask you. Let me flip a question for you. If me charge you for murder, and you come and you say, I'm not guilty for murder, but I am guilty for manslaughter, and I give you my version, I give you my version that supports my guilty plea for manslaughter. Remember, I know, when you're in the court, they plead you. They ask you, are you guilty?
We get all of that. It doesn't answer the question.
So the man plead guilty. They may answer a question. The man plead guilty for a specific charge. And because he has pled guilty for that specific charge, his statement is going to be the truth, because his statement is supporting the charge that he has pled guilty for.
That is what I'm saying.
Emily Cook did her point of view. Emily Cook gave her point of view on the case today. I would urge you guys to listen to what Emily Cooks said.
Let me tell you you want me to tell you the truth? I think this is a whole great conspiracy amongst police, lawyer, judge, politician, and everybody. So you see when
what we were talking about this morning, remember I stated to you that it is, if I was a lawyer and I was a justice, I would not go for premeditated. I would go for cold-blooded, because it is evidence. Because even if she could have...
We don't have that on our books. We don't have that on our books. No.
We have capital murder.
Only have murder. We only have capital murder and manslaughter. There is
we need
nothing.
To petition for the amendment of this justice system,
we don't need that in a Nicola, but listen to this. Listen to this. Let me say this too. Two gangsters in the street a fight. Nobody no did it. And one kill one. And somebody, police go and hear, say, police go up on the crime scene and a man say, say, and then two they did argue, and the two they, I must him kill him. Police never did it.
Yeah.
Police never did it. And
but you say police
say,
are going to charge him for murder.
Man charge him for murder. Can it happen all the time? So why difference
right.
now?
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that's a good example, Doge.
Why difference?
Yeah,
So how to find them
what's the
difference? Oh,
the difference here. No, that's not the difference.
What's the difference?
You see, after I talked to you this morning, so I see you guys this morning, I was actually running some things in my head. Vibes Cartel spent 13 years in a prison. And Vibes Cartel what because of a technicality, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What we need to be afraid of now.
Hey, you know, say what you say wrong. You never walk because of a technicality, you know. Then you walk because they decide not to try him again.
Yeah, but there was a technicality there that caused his case to be thrown out. They could have tried it, but they chose not to. So what I'm trying to say is, what I try to get at is this: what we need to be careful of here is the guilty plea for manslaughter, that it does not give grounds for certain appeals to be made that can cause the case to be thrown out. The man lawyer had 2 years to sit and deal with this case. And at the last moment, a client come and say, I'm guilty for manslaughter. No,
John, you know what they say. You know what they say, brother. It sound like hold on. It sound like a man will say, "Indeed, going to the house to rape the woman, but he ain't plan to kill her, but he ain't up kill her."
No, me I tell you what happened in this case, you know. Me show you what happened. After the ballistic report come out, because remember now, you know, you can send somebody a prison for purely circumstantial evidence. The ballistic report alone should be enough, and the autopsy, because in try to cover it up, should be enough to prove premeditation. See? In any other normal country, I don't know what happened down in Jamaica, but in any normal country, you have an argument with your wife yesterday. See? And tomorrow you kill her. That means you probably did that thing about it. And then you do it. See?
In America.
In England too. See?
In America, you can get charged for a secondary murder.
Yes, we know
you
that.
Can get charged for second-degree murder.
Yes.
Which carries a harsher penalty than manslaughter.
Yes, but when you factor in the tampering at crime scene and the line, that also get him some extra charges, no? Me know that would happen to him in England.
Hey, England have to make the pitney them go find them mother. in that prison.
Something need to change with that, definitely, Nicola.
But the thing, the thing is that
we hear from
Jacqueline. England.
You know, so the laws in Jamaica and the ones them in England interpret the same way, you know, or slightly. So, me no know. Come in, Jacqueline.
Jean.
Yes, good evening.
Evening. When a person died, especially in these circumstances, right?
Yes.
As a couple, not even wife and husband, but just as a couple. If it is when they found out that what he said she died from is different from what
she actually died from, premeditation.
The first suspect, without they have all the inclusive evidence, is him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first person of interest.
Yep.
Right? Is your husband or your wife, whosoever the spouse is that is still alive.
Yep.
No. It was told to the world that she died peacefully in her sleep from aneurysm.
So and who then decided that?
4 days after, 4 days after, 4 days after, when the policeman requested post-mortem, it was found out, it was found that she died from gunshot.
Mm-hmm.
No, this man should have been a suspect from day one. Right?
Yeah.
And everybody allow him to run loose and get time to do what him do with the gun. Right? It wasn't the kids them who kill her. It wasn't an intruder who kill her. Hold on, sir, because you have your time. Just hold on, me up on the phone and I listen. Let me talk. It wasn't the children them who kill her. No, why wasn't he a suspect from the get-go?
Jacqueline, he wasn't a suspect from the get-go because
he should have been.
The police that went on the scene did not inspect the woman's body. If the police had inspected the woman's body, the police would have found the bullet wound them on the woman.
Yeah, but 4 days later, them find the bullet. So why wasn't
he a suspect?
Hold on. 4 days later, when they found it,
yes,
that's when they started to put the case together. There's a lot of evidence that could and has been destroyed in that 4 days. When the police went there,
because they tampered with the evidence and destroy the evidence, then it becomes circumstantial. It's for the state to piece it together now and say, listen, because he murdered the woman in a cold blood, he cover it up. The DPP and our people, them blunder.
In the first place, you cannot call...
And the police force too. And the police force, because one, the book also stop with the commissioner, you know. Where no people now really realize, you know, because listen. All right, that sergeant, I am sure there are other persons above him from Constant Spring Police Station. And when him come up on a situation like that, let me tell you something. I used to work in a government department, and I know that when there are any questionable circumstance, we do what is called a report. And I have to forward a report to my manager, then to my supervisor, and it goes up the chain. So all of these people blunder. Dr. Kevin Blake is also accountable too, you know. He's also accountable too, because standard, as what this police guy is telling us about standard procedure, that was not followed. And that is what caused the breakdown of the whole entire case. The police.
It was a Kevin Blake. It was a Kevin Blake at the time.
Anthony Anderson at the time.
Yeah, it was a Kevin Blake.
Bailey. That's why I've been trying to explain
was
to you
in charge
guys
of that division, but the police commissioner was...
When he went there, based on what he saw, and the fact that he did not check the body for signs of or marks of violence, he assumed that it was a sudden death. So he would have written,
You repeat the same thing. You know.
Just wait a
minute. Are you saying that if you miss something, you can't go back and get it? That you say? If you miss something, you can't go back.
No. Listen to me. He would have written a report. He would have written a report.
The question them when me ask, you know, him definitely not answer them, you know, because he might try to cover up in police thing as your job.
I am not trying to, big man. Me not trying to cover up with nobody, because I am telling you guys that the man blunder. The police blunder and the police blunder big time.
This is the reason why I ask the question then when me ask now. Because one, the children them find their mother on the floor. Two, the policeman find the mother on the chair, according to no. And the rest of people them will go that the woman was lying in his bed with a little bit of blood on her nose. She died in her sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Which one is somebody started talking for me?
And if
that and, them that and thing that make no sense to me.
And Shane, if the police hold on, a doctor is supposed to pronounce you dead, and if the policeman come on the scene and say him left the scene after him called Tranquility. Who was the doctor who pronounced her dead, and also who said that she had an aneurysm?
No, hold on. The morgue personnel, the personnel that picks up the body, takes it to the nearest hospital for it to be pronounced.
Yes.
Most time, the only thing the doctor does is come, look at the body in the vehicle, check for signs of life. And if there is none, he pronounce the body. And then the man them carry it, go put down a mark. There's no doctor in Jamaica, no doctor visits a scene and
Big
pronounce anybody.
Big man, the body, the policeman cannot pronounce the body. The policeman is there to take him whatever.
Investigation.
Right up or what have, right, or what have you. The doctor would come. So it that and you see,
no doctor no come and feel in Jamaica.
Hold on.
No doctor no come and feel in Jamaica.
Let me tell you, a two hospital that body could have gone. A two hospital that body could have gone to, either Kingston Public Hospital or University Hospital. You understand? So there and then a doctor without they have to carry the body got accident or emergency, and then you get the doctor to come out and pronounce the body and what have you as dead.
I can't tell you something when I see in my own family.
You know that me just.
I can't tell you something when I see. I can't tell you something when I see in my own family. When you are of a certain ilk, you have doctors that come out to you. I have seen it a few times in my own family where family members are sick and doctor actually come to their house, so they don't have to go to no clinic or no doctor or nothing, or no hospital. So a family
that's not construct. That's like a sudden death, you know. That's
what I said to you, what I get at is a family like that usually have a family doctor that come out to them.
Yes, but that's different. That's different. If the person die of questionable circumstance, it has to go to the body has to go to the hospital.
Yeah, but remember Dennis,
it's not die of questionable circumstances. If the person dies and the person does not have a medical history to support a particular illness.
But do you remember
that can be
in this circumstance?
Well, it's not questionable. But that's questionable.
No, but remember now, Dennis.
They didn't die of a medical condition.
Hold on, let me say this. In this instance, remember say a crime scene clean up and them would have never had seen anything then. So we just assume say
so it would not be deemed questionable.
So it wouldn't be deemed questionable yet.
It would just be treated as a sudden death.
Hey, Dojan.
Yeah.
You see why me ask the question then when me ask now?
Yeah.
Because this is the thing why me ask ask this policeman them question, you know. Because me want to know why them can't take him for theme words. After we hear so they pick them find the body in one place, the police see the body in another place, and little bit of blood them see the body in another place, and other people see the body in whatever they must say. How can you know? Tell we say theme words is enough for manslaughter. That me ask.
No,
another thing too. Before you even go there, so remember, say the doctor have to come and pronounce the body, right? When the body would have arrived at the hospital, right? And the doctor's signature, everything has to be affixed to it or what have you, because when so let me ask the question now. Let me ask the question. How is it that same body, who gives the directive for that body to go to Tranquility without the person?
No, listen. Hold on. Let me say something on that. Hold on. Let me say something before anybody says anything. Tranquility is the parlor that responds for the body that died outside of an hospital. that is the government. It is assigned to the government to do like Madden used to be, but they are not using Madden anymore. They are using Tranquility.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's what
Tranquility is
the coroner.
Right. Tranquility is the coroner for anybody that is outside of the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
The coroner's office. That's what you would deem it as.
So Uncle Josh,
right.
Uncle Josh,
after your body goes to Tranquility, if you want to move it to your respective after the examination, if you want to move it, then you can.
All right, well, let me ask a question because I heard
body,
Uncle Josh
the body was pronounced. Hold on, Dutch. It means that the body was pronounced at the home before it actually leave for Tranquility.
No, because she died at home. She died at home, so automatically the body would go to Tranquility, but it has to go to public for the doctor to pronounce her dead before they send her to Tranquility.
So
that's not in the report. That's not in the report.
Hold on, man. Exactly.
So hold on. Come here, a question based on that.
Hold on.
Uncle Josh did say to me that in one case, he was trying to get the body cremated. Is that in the report?
No, me not hear that in the report, look well. But hold on, people. Let me try to give you guys a step-by-step description of what happened. All right? When the police goes on the scene of a sudden death. When the police goes on the scene of a sudden death, the police has certain functions to carry out. The police must check the signs of life. The police must check the marks of violence. Now, when the police don't find no sign of life and the police don't find no marks of violence, the police has to question family member as to the medical history of the person. If the family member says that the person doesn't have any known illnesses, the police has to initiate for an autopsy to be carried out. So
repeat yourself.
We go through all of that already, you know. We went through all of that already, so there's no need for you to go back through that again. It makes
need to go back to it.
No sense. We just keep going round and round in a circle.
I need to go back to it because of some questions that are being asked and some things that are being said.
No, because you see what you are saying now is not working at the report. The report said the policeman come, the policeman do and get the body moved to Marg. You tell them to move the body to Marg. So I know what you are saying.
We have somebody new on the panel. We have somebody new on the panel. Uno give me some way there. We have somebody new on the panel. Come through, shine it.
Yeah, all I want to say is
turn down. It's something in your background, shine it. It'll echo back to it.
It's easy.
You turn it down or turn it off. It'll echo back to it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, all I want to say, when the police went there and think the woman died, it was a call an ambulance.
Yeah.
The police was a call an ambulance.
I don't think it was
and then
in Jamaica, but it should.
That's what just happened.
Yeah.
Because when the police went there, the woman was prefixed.
Yes.
Because they cleaned her up.
Yeah.
So the police didn't see any blood.
Yeah.
Because she's in a different dress.
Yeah.
Then what she get shot in. So they're supposed. Now that the police thought he died, they're supposed to call an ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it needed.
They would have checked then and there for vital signs of life and probably would have seen that she got shot.
Right. But you see, because it's a woman, the police not going to turn her over and all of that. If it was a woman police went there, then it would maybe a different thing.
They should have gone
because
there.
she sees the woman and she looked like she dead. So all he got to do is call the ambulance or call the relevant authorities to come and pick her up.
But I thought they said it was the husband who called them. But the truth be told, she was so young, and it should have been suspicious for that police,
Yeah.
Because if you hear a husband call to check on, you say, "Oh, your wife dropped down," or the kid. I mean, that's the first thing you wouldn't you're not gonna accept a 40-year-old wife. Oh, she just dropped down like that. You'd have been there before even the police.
Because I type person.
But he knew what he was doing.
Because the type person. But when we hear back from Uncle Josh now, Uncle Josh, sometime we drop a step.
Yes, sir.
You're there, man. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Come in, man. Anything you want to add?
So I tend to disagree with this statement about calling the ambulance. You don't get to that point yet. One of the statements that was made by, part of the summary was that Mr. Silveira said to preserve my wife's decency. What that means is that she was not fully clothed, which gives the impression that having called the police and he rushed to the house and started the process of cleaning up, we get the impression that this police might have been quite familiar with him and so stepped in and he was almost caught off guard. And in his haste to fix her up, he didn't set her clothes properly. And so the police came, did his work in terms of making that preliminary assessment as to whether or not anything had gone awry out of the norm. In fact, when we listen to Fitzbailey's statement, he said that the police observed certain abnormalities. And as a result of that, that is why a second request was made. So I also disagree with the point that the police only visited the scene once. I believe that the police did more than one visit, and if we listen carefully, one was on the 16th
It said
of
in a
December.
report, Uncle Josh, that when they went back, the tile was new, the bed changed, the furniture changed, and in our kids' room. It said that they went back there on a second occasion. Yes.
Right. So they went back on the 16th of December.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the time they realized that things were changed. Again, in as much as that police was unprofessional, right, we still have to commend him because had he not taken the photo, then there would be, and noticed that
there would be no proof.
Right.
There would be no proof.
Right. And noticed that there were certain abnormalities. So he noticed and obviously wrote it in his report. And then secondly, he took a photo. So yes, he was not as professional as he could be, but we commend him. In addition to that, there was also mention of an offer of $150,000 for him to submit an incorrect report, which he refused. And we can't overlook something like that because he could have decided, you know what, I know Silveira a long time and he's a good man, but he still refused. We must not underestimate the power and the influence of money. But he must have thought, you know what, I have a job to do in spite of the fact that he was lenient, because obviously he had a certain amount of leniency towards Mr. Silveira.
Uncle Josh, my contention, is with all of this evidence, they are saying there's no evidence to charge him for murder.
Exactly.
All right. So here's what happened. In law, there's a statement that is often ascribed to law, which says it's not what you know, but what you can actually prove. So we know that he committed the crime, but was it irrefutable proof? That is the big question. Could it be proved irrefutably? Right? Now, where I would blame the DPP is that I wouldn't have just accepted that plea just like that, whether I was the one that presented it or they approached me. I would have said, here it is, I'm giving you an option to get a lighter sentence, but you have to give us the names of all your accomplices. Because he's going to be sentenced nonetheless, and if they're smart, he can get up to 40 years easily. The firearms charges alone attract up to 40 years, right?
That should be the route they went.
Right. In addition to that, the charge of manslaughter can get him up to 25 years again. the attempt to conceal the crime, and that is another charge. Tampering with a crime scene, that is another charge. Attempting to pervert the course of justice, that is another charge. In addition to that, attempting to tamper with the weapon, that is another charge. They are smart. They can get up to 30, 35, 40 years easily.
They're not charging him for all of them other things. There are 3 things alone they charge him for. Murder, manslaughter,
that means
and illegal possession of firearms.
So from the very beginning, they were derelict because there are so many things that he can be charged for. He tampered with the weapon, that's a charge. He tampered with the crime scene, that's another charge. He attempted to conceal. He attempted to conceal the murder. That's another charge. Offering bribery to a law enforcement officer, attempting to bribe an officer of the law. That is another charge.
So Joshua, with all of those things, with all of those things, we still can't prove. Say he did plan to kill her, he did want to kill her.
So here's what I'm saying. It is very difficult to prove all of those. And that is why I would have what they call a roll of the dice. There's a term that is used that is known as a roll of the dice. What is a roll of the dice? I would have simply made him an offer in addition to the offer of a lesser plea, moving from murder to manslaughter, to say, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I'll give you a lesser charge, and I'll even drop 1 or 2 of these 5 charges, because instead of 3, I would have charged him for 5 or 6 charges against him. And then in addition to that, I would have gone ahead and say to him, all who are complicit, because the young miss that says it was a little bit of blood. The question that I would have wanted to find out is, how did she know that? So she has placed herself at the crime scene. The doctor that said that. Yeah. Right. And I know that she said so, but I'm speaking as if I was in a courthouse now. Right? The doctor that says that it's aneurysm, I would have wanted to find out, why did you say it's aneurysm? Right? The opposition leader that claimed that she died peacefully in her sleep. How did you come back? How did you come by that information? Right? So all of these things, I would have wanted all of these persons to face the court. But we must not be daunted, the charges that were not laid against him, that have not been laid against him yet. Even after he has been charged, in this matter, they can actually charge him for those things, separate and apart. They can actually lay fresh charges against him with those things. So we must not be daunted. And it cannot be thrown out. They have the legal right to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I am interested to see what happened at sentencing, and if he not get 15 years or more, me I go bex.
No, I think 15 years is too small, because you have to remember that.
That's what I think too.
In our court system, whatever time you get, it is night and day you serve it. So it is going to work out to be half the time.
Yeah.
Right? So if you get 15 and 7.5 years, actually he's getting in real time.
Yeah.
And remember that we like to talk about for time served and minus the time served, which is basically 2.25 years already. Right? We like to say that, right? So in my parting shot to all of us who are here and those who are listening is to say that just as though we had Support the Men in Blue Day last year, right? And it was right before Father's Day, that all of us who are here, we get a poster made and we put it on our statuses, and we begin to cry out justice for Melissa, and it must have Silvera's face on it. And we want to, and part of the reason for this, we want to
2 days ago,
we have seen where Judge Sykes has given questionable judgments in cases. And I want to point out something that I want you guys to listen to me, because I've seen a trend. In the Trafigura case, it was PNP that was involved. In the Klansman case, it was PNP that was involved. In this case, PNP that was involved. And there's a reason I'm going down this route. Follow me. In all 3 cases that had the same party connected to it, there are 2 other things that we noticed. It was judge only in all three cases. The traffic guru, the Klansman, and this case. Yes. There were something else that was noteworthy is that they were all in-camera cases. In other words, the media was not allowed to be in it. Right? Why is it that every time that there's a case involving this party, it must be judge only and the media is locked out? What do you have to hide? Shouldn't it be about justice? Right? And we have to make an example and restore confidence in the heart of the Jamaican people to let them understand that irrespective of which side of town you come from, and whether you support a political party or you don't support a political party, the same justice that goes for Maitland, who didn't have any bigwig friends, is the same justice that goes for Silvera.
That should go for Silvera. Yes.
So listen to me now, panel.
Believe that.
I am going to end shortly, but what I will do is I will give everybody 2 minutes to do a closing statement, starting with Shane. So go ahead, Shane.
To be honest, make everybody do the closing statement and whatever. Maybe listen on word, because my thing still remain is that I can understand why theme word would have take president over everything else. And that's it.
Because I'm friend and in PNP then run the judiciary. That is why. Go ahead, Dwayne. 2 minutes.
All right. So Maitland had the same option. But Maitland was saying that he was not guilty. If Maitland had said that he's guilty of manslaughter, he would have to produce the body of Donnelly. So Maitland just decided to take his chances because the evidence against him is what he would deem as being circumstantial.
You convict him though.
But he could have gone down the same route.
And them convict him with circumstantial, and we have hard evidence here, so man get lesser charge.
My son, I can't tell the
you
can't have approach the
all right, so all right, so my thing is this. The police officer blundered big time.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he had done what he was supposed to do, which was inspect the body for marks of violence, he would have found the bullet wounds. And when he found the bullet wounds, all of the other steps that were taken to conceal and destroy evidence would not have happened, because Silvera would have been taken into custody that time. His firearm would have been seized.
All right,
the whole incident would have gone a different way.
All right, that is 2 minutes. Go ahead, shine it.
Blundered.
Shine it.
Huh?
Come in, 2 minutes closing statement for shine it. Come in, shine it.
Well, yes. I thought if they get to question the 10-year-old by herself, she was the only one I think would tell the truth. Because kids don't really tell lies.
Yep.
Kids talk what they see. Yep. So if they get the question the little 10-year-old, then they would actually know exactly what happened. Okay?
Yeah, I agree. The children did give a statement, but the father one took president,
Yeah.
Anything else, shine it?
No, that's it. No.
Right,
I'm listening.
Come through, Jacqueline.
All right. Dujon, my little 2 cents added is that if the court consider the children to testify, it would make a big difference, because they would know the life that their parents was living, because they would have heard things, so they could relate to the court. And even if kids is lying, judge will listen. You understand? Because Judge listen to. No, I'm just saying. If children.
May I add to your statement? The pitney them probably could have tell them, so Missy, mommy and daddy a fight this a time and that the time there, and then we would have know either start paint a picture. You know?
Okay. And my strong belief, hold on, I'm shining. My strong belief is that when Silvera got that call from his son, he killed her before he left the house. That was his cover-up to say he wasn't in the house when whatever happened. He killed her before he left that house.
I don't think he left the house at all. I think wherever he claimed to be, she was already dead when he got that call from his son.
He left the house, John, because the 10-year-old was to call him, and then he said he called the police.
Yeah.
Knowing exactly what he did. He might not left the apartment complex, but he wasn't in the house. He stepped away. He stepped away because he want an alibi, so he stepped away.
Right. That's all right.
You know, and if the policeman who requested, which he never even have to request it, because if she die of a sudden death, she have to be examined at the thing, and he wanted a cremation, so everything would just dead right there along with her.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jacqueline, come in, Nicole. 2 minutes.
Well, my main point, because everybody actually take the thing that I wanted was to say about the child and so on, but thus far, as the gentleman stated before, I don't trust Sykes. I think we need to petition against this man. Every form of like gang and this and that, this man is a part of it, and he tends to suffer the victims and let go the criminals. And I think we need to petition against Justice Sykes. With all that, the trend that he just listed out, Justice Sykes is always a part of it. He cannot be Jamaica Justice. He needs to be out of the position. He doesn't need to be there, especially the fact that one part of the trial where, as a justice, where when the police state he heard shot in the one done trial, 8 shots, and he stated that can a gun carried 7 shots and fired 8. And as a judge, he didn't even know that one is being kept in the chamber. So a man that is of that intellect, I mean, I don't trust him. He's not supposed to be in our judicial system. Trust me. He has been messing up a lot. And now that he came back, now we have this tragedy and we have disappointment and we have all of that. I would just want us to petition against him.
I think we might need to call a state of emergency and lock up a PNP indefinitely. You know, all of these subjects are there. You know? Yeah.
Not a bad idea. But that man is and that man. I don't know. He's not from Galilee, but I don't know where he's from.
He never got nowhere. He wasn't available for the case because he did have other cases. But as soon as they made him available, he jumped on it because in them a wait man.
All right, so
because them have them ducks in a row.
The crown witness for the last one done case, the man wants to lock up the crown witness. Can you imagine that? And that man, you have a judge for 60 gang members. 60. I have one judge. I mean, I show you how he mess up in the one case. I have 60, he's trying 60 person. No, something wrong. This man look like him 15 at the 16.
So being that Uncle Joshua made the last general statement, we'll give him 2 minutes to close. So go ahead, Uncle Josh.
Thank you very much. We're at a pivotal point and at a crossroads in our judiciary. This case would either make or break what becomes of our judicial system it is what I would call a highly emotive case. And what do I mean by that? Because it is the type of case that pulls on your emotion, and it runs the risk of us looking at it through the lens of our emotions as opposed to the lens of our logic. And though the temptation is there, we don't have all the facts. But in spite of the fact that we don't have all the facts, we can balance both, where we demand justice, but simultaneously use logic to deduce the greater good. And I'm saying that at this moment, we should ensure that we remain on top of this in the public sphere. And as I had suggested, we all put on our statuses and we continuously go on the airwaves and on social media to demand justice for Melissa. Create posters and keep it on our statuses. Justice for Melissa with Joel and Sylvia as base. And we keep on top of everything, because if the judgment is too lenient, people will lose faith in the justice system. The gains that we have made in the last 3 years as it relates to crime, I fear that it may be eroded because persons, because of a lack of faith in the justice system, will decide that I no longer want to take my chances in court, but I'd rather pay somebody to get the justice that I believe that the court will not grant to me. So having said that, I am saying I'm appealing to the powers that be, and in particular to justice side, and I hope that this gets done, that do not derail the gains that we have made. And for the DPP's office, I am also saying that you should press for the maximum possible punishment that is deserving in this case. And in addition to that, after you have gotten it, the additional charges that should be laid, I am also recommending and suggesting that they go for that after this one has been passed, because there are additional charges that can be laid, right? Having gotten the first judgment, go ahead and press for the others. Having said that, Jamaica, let us keep being hopeful and let us lobby Parliament and the Senate for stronger laws when we have not only first-degree murder, but second-degree murder. And as opposed to jumping from murder, right? Let us lobby Parliament and the Senate for amendment to our judiciary as it relates to the murder cases, wherein we don't just jump from murder to manslaughter, but we must have first and second degree and other forms that is better suited in keeping with the crimes committed. And I land right there.
All right, guys.
Well said. Well said. Very well said.
Well said. That's the most important part.
We are going to work tomorrow, and I know I have to go talk to my wife a little bit because she's not there, so I have to go love her and leave her. You know, I will soon, my man.
All right, have a good one.
So,
God bless you, man. God bless you. And don't post them pictures and show off and post people, man. Sure.
All right, Uncle Josh. Better top your show off.
God bless all of you, man. God bless all of you, and to your listeners, good night.
All right.
Good night. Good night.
Big up everybody. Louis, big up yourself. Shine, big up. Jacqueline.
Yep.
Nikita,
right.
Big up on yourself. So, big up all 201 person who is still here. Big up all 148 person that gave me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber. And I will soon tomorrow. See? Big up on yourself. Much love. Shower labor rights.